What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Crossroads with Cam, or welcome if it's your first time. We got a very special guest, one of my best friends.
Hi, I'm Lauren.
Dalton. What's up?
Not much. How are you?
I'm good. How are you? How
Very
are you
good.
doing in college? You just started a new chapter of your life, basically, right?
True. There's been a lot of good, some bad, mostly good. But thank you for having me.
Yeah, we're glad to have you. I had to have one with you because you're one of my best friends, and it wouldn't be the same without you. So
Thank you.
we're here doing it, and can we just talk before we even get anything about the economy? I just bought these two little cups of coffee for $11.
$11?
It's like $10.80 for two Starbucks. Like Starbucks, do better.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I don't like that. But it tastes good. So.
It's good. I have, my thing is like coffee every episode. Like that's like kind of my thing. Mm-hmm. So I had to get it, but it's just dumb. Like
my question is, 10 years from now, how much are we going to be spending at Starbucks or McDonald's?
It goes in cycles, I think. But if it keeps going up, then the world's just gonna end because this is barely affordable anymore.
You know, I spent $12 at McDonald's. I spend $12 at McDonald's every time I go to McDonald's. And I remember when I was little, it would be like 3 people for 12 bucks.
Remember the dollar menu?
Yes.
That's not even a thing anymore.
I miss that.
Now it's just anywhere you go is at least $12. Anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Except I went to the island a few days ago and got all-you-can-eat pancakes for $7.
That's
the
what
only
you do.
deal left.
That's smart.
So go to the beach and maybe you'll find some.
Mm-hmm.
I did.
Cracker Barrel. Okay, you know what a lot of these companies are doing though?
What?
So like I know Cracker Barrel does it and Carrabba's. They'll make you go and you buy food. Is my thing not on?
Your mic is gone.
It died.
Oh, there we go.
Okay.
Just leave it right there.
Should I like fix it here?
That's good.
Awesome. Okay, Cracker Barrel and Carrabba's. Something they do is you go and you like buy an expensive meal. And then I know Carrabba's specifically, they let you buy the same meal to go for $10. Or like Cracker Barrel will let you buy like a meal for like $6.
To go?
To go. So it's like you're spending a lot the first time, but then for the second meal is way cheaper.
Like when you go, then when you leave, you order more.
Yeah, you get another one for
Oh.
when you leave.
That's interesting. At
I
least they're
know.
doing something.
Exactly.
A lot of places are just. I mean, it's not even their fault though. It's just everything's expensive now. Everything.
Mm-hmm.
Especially coffee. So.
Let's enjoy it.
It is what. Yeah. I mean. Cheers.
Cheers.
Today I want to talk about war of the mind. It's a topic that isn't talked about a lot in Christianity about like mental health and overthinking and all this stuff. But we as Gen Z, I feel like our generation struggles with this a lot. And we have, the Bible, but not a lot of people in our generation really know God, especially in colleges, places like that don't like receive that yet. But mental health and overthinking, war of the mind, what's it called? Spiritual warfare is a big thing. And that's what I want to get into with you, because I know me and you both have like some overthinking stuff we've been through and still are going through. I am.
Me too.
So yeah, what are your thoughts on like how can we as Gen Z implement like our faith with that kind of issue? Like where does that come in?
I definitely.
Or what are your thoughts on like overthinking in general to start off with?
First of all, I think that is the biggest issue I face.
It's me too.
Because my brain is like my biggest enemy, but it's also my best friend because my brain can create awesome things, but it can also just make me a mess. Mm-hmm. And I will say, like 9 out of 10 times I've heard church sermons on mental health, I turn it off because it stinks. Like it's just not good. Because I feel like many times people would try to like preach on things that they haven't experienced. Mm-hmm. And everyone's experience is different. So like what works for me might not work for you. What works for you might not work for me. Yeah. And stuff like that. But for me personally, the things that have helped the most have been prayer, obviously, for number one. But then also helping myself in a day-to-day life. So like doing cardio, trying to eat healthier. That's another issue I have. I don't eat healthy. But whenever I do eat healthy, my brain's easier. So,
that's interesting too.
Yeah, something my mom says is God helps those who help themselves. And you can't just be like, oh, I'm going to pray and read my Bible and everything will be better. Like you have to implement healthy habits to help calm your mind.
Yeah, the little things each day are what, it's like the small habits that you build become your discipline. Because if you don't do it, if you don't do one thing, one day you're just going to be like, one day I'll start this, or one day I'll do this and I'll be better. Right. But you said pray about it. I think a big issue in churches today is even though it's like a pretty basic thing to say, people say just pray about it. And it's like, for someone our age that is kind of new to their faith, like, how is that going to, like, sometimes people are going to be like, what is that going to do? Like, just pray about it. Like, I don't know what to do, all these emotions and stuff. So how do we get past that? Just churches in general, like, saying just pray about it. What does that mean?
Yeah, it aggravates me when that's the first response, because if you're not a believer or you're new in your faith and you're told to just pray about it to a God that you don't necessarily believe in yet.
You're like, what? What are you talking
You're
about?
just talking to yourself, which prayer is so powerful and so important, and I do believe everyone should pray, but I don't like the answer, just pray about it.
Yeah,
when I'm talking to someone.
I mean, if we're talking about youth groups and stuff where teenagers and stuff are new to their faith, it's like everyone's going through something and they don't necessarily know how powerful prayer is. Like, if you don't know God first, and what do you like prayer doesn't mean anything until you know who you're praying to, right?
Exactly. And then also another thing is, when I was younger in my faith, I thought these prayers had to be these long, thought out, grammatically correct things. But Romans 8:26.
There we go.
Literally, this got me through it.
I love this. You're bringing in scripture.
Thank you.
Already? That's awesome. First guest to do that, by the way.
Really? Mm-hmm. Well, it's not very prophetic, but I like it because
the word is the word.
It kind of shows, exactly, the word is the word. But where is it? In the same way, the Spirit also helps us in our weakness, because we do not know what to pray for as we should, but the Spirit himself intercedes for us with inexpressible groanings. And he who searches our hearts knows the mind of the Spirit, because he intercedes for the saints according to the will of God.
Oh, okay.
We don't necessarily need to know what we're praying for.
That's true.
We just have to be like, God, help me out. Like, come in my brain. I don't know the solution to the issue. I don't know what I can do. I don't even know necessarily what's wrong with me. Just help me out. And sometimes I'll just be like, hey, God, just welcome.
Yeah,
and
just
then I
like
just
be
sit
here
in his
with me.
presence.
Yeah, because I don't know where exactly it is in the Bible, but there is somewhere where it talks about God knows your prayers in your heart before you ever say anything. Mm-hmm. Like, it doesn't necessarily have to be this perfect, thought out, like you're talking about, like a lot of religious leaders in the Bible used to say, like, you have to say these things and say it like this. That's not how prayer is. Mm-hmm. It's literally just talking to God and being like, one, I need you, and two, just be here with me. Mm-hmm. And then we can ask for things. Then we can do things. But the first thing is, like, going to him just to have him. Mm-hmm. Right? Because prayer, when we think about, like, the bigger picture of it, it's just communication with God. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people overcomplicate that, or I guess churches and religion and everything overcomplicates it into this big, I have to say this exact wording. Mm-hmm. It's like, it gets kind of toxic. Yeah.
See, I think those prayers, like the Lord's Prayer and those memorized prayers, are important out of respect and just giving God that, like I said, that little respect to him. Mm-hmm. But then, like, you want to constantly be in prayer, because literally the God of the world is on your side at all times. And you can talk to him whenever you want. And he can do things that are so incredibly crazy. Like, the reason I am a Christian and I believe in Jesus is all because of my personal experiences with him. Mm-hmm. It hasn't been from people, like, yelling at me to believe in God and repent. It's been, like, took the time to be like, hey, God, I don't really know if you're there, but I'm going to believe you. Just help me out, please. And he has. And crazy things have happened that I know are not possible without him. Yeah, that's good. Where did you first start to have those experiences? Like, when did that happen in your life? And what caused them, really? I remember I used to be on anxiety medication, and it made it worse. It made me gain weight. I was, like, still really upset and really sad. And then I started going to church, and I started reading my Bible, and I started praying, and I just felt a peace that I've never felt before. And now I'm fully med-free. And yes, I still deal with overthinking thoughts and anxious moments and stuff like that, but not to the extent of when I was younger. Right. And being a believer doesn't mean everything's going to be perfect, but it's like now you have someone to fall back on. It's like God already won. Like, there's already victory in Christ. So we know no matter what these problems are, we know the ending. We know that God has beaten all of our things. And so with going to church and stuff, like, did you purposely go, like, did you have these problems before that, and then you were like, I need to get into something with him? Or Yes, I realized that nothing I was doing was working. And like you said, you can't expect your life to be perfect once you're a believer.
Right.
But you can go through these really awful trials and really scary situations knowing the God of the world's on your side. And yes, he'll bring you through crazy things, but he can get you out of them and he can help you through them. And at the end of the day, like, we live in the world. Nothing will ever be perfect. Nothing will ever be that amazing.
It's a fallen world.
Because we live in a fallen world. Yes.
Yeah. It's the sufferings always produce something though. Like no matter what someone's going through, it's like you don't go through something just to suck, right? There's always a reason and something you can learn or grow from. It says suffering produces endurance in the Bible. Endurance leads to hope in your faith. And it's like, if someone's going through overthinking, what's the first step in like going to God about it? How do they start?
I think,
Because for me, it wasn't instant that like praying helped. Like it probably was, but in my mind, I was like how am I gonna do this if I don't really know what I'm saying? I don't even know what's going on.
Yeah.
I started getting in the Word though, and even if I didn't realize that what I was reading was helping, then I can look back and see like, okay, God started speaking to me on certain things without even realizing it, and through people too.
Right. Well, I got really aggravated because when I would overthink, like moving to college was a lot of stress on me because I didn't really know anyone that goes to college that I was close with, and
yeah,
I was putting all this pressure on myself to be perfect all the time because I'm like, I'm going to college, I have stuff to lose. Like, if I'm not perfect all the time and I mess up, then it's done, it's over, my life is ending. And then crazy thoughts, but I was just creating these scenarios in my head that didn't exist.
Right.
And the way I got a little aggravated because I kept praying and I kept overthinking, and I was just like, God, why aren't you helping me out? And I read like one verse, like I would say it to myself all the time. But then I realized I wasn't reading my Bible and I wasn't genuinely like talking to God. So then when I opened up my Bible and I was like, okay, welcome God into just my brain,
just,
my
like,
heart.
just be here.
Exactly. And as I read, show me what I need to like see.
Yeah, that's something that's powerful that some people don't know. I guess I'm talking to myself when I was a first Christian, I didn't realize how important it was to go in the Bible with an intention to say, to seek God. Like no other thing. I don't want to just read this to read a book. Like I want to hear God and know his character and stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah, that starts to help. But I wanted to go into this verse that just came to me when I was researching this topic. It's 2 Timothy 1 verse 7, and it goes along with what we're talking about. It says, "For God has not given us a spirit of fear and timidity, but of power, love, and self-discipline." So the spirit is all good things, but sometimes there's like demons and like those are real things, spiritual warfare, things that are the enemy's always trying to attack something. So
because as real as God is, the enemy's real too. He's
right.
just a loser.
And there's two people on the phone when you're praying too. Like the devil is also hearing that, and he wants to stop you from everything God's calling you to. So with that verse, like spirit of where was it? Oh, of power, love, and self-discipline. Where do those things like come in?
I feel like
it's a pretty known verse too.
Yeah, and I literally wrote it down because it's so good. But
what'd you write?
Well, I just wrote the verse. I rewrote the verse.
Okay, I see.
Yeah, no, but like he says, we do not have a. This was one of the verses that I kept reading, and you have to look at this. You have to be like, okay, I don't need to take everything so seriously. Like God has a plan on your life. Right. This is what I tell myself, and I believe God has a plan on my life. Things will come around and try to hurt me and try to stop me, and the enemy will get in my head and try to have me overthink myself out of the plan God has for me. So I'm not going to listen to that, and when I hear those thoughts, I'm not going to try to stop them. I'm going to let them flow, get out of my brain, and then I'm just going to replace it with the truth. God has a plan for me.
There we go.
He's going to get me through every single trial I face, and also, like I said, you have to help yourself too. Like you have to start working out. You have to start eating healthier. You have to have daily disciplines, because all the external things, those also stick in your subconscious and make you anxious. Like when your bed's not made, when you have a whole bunch of laundry, when your dishes are full, like that stuff stresses you out without you realizing it. So then all of that on top of whatever you're worried about in the first place, like just get rid of it. Exactly. And like try to help yourself. When you have homework, don't wait until the last second to do it.
Yeah, you're creating this anxiety. From,
exactly.
Like, not you, but like in general, people. Everything we do has something that has a part to play in our mental health, especially with keeping yourself, healthy. I'm talking about physically, mentally, and spiritually. Like I always think about when I was thinking about goals and stuff for the year. I thought, all right, I want 3 categories: spiritual goals, mental goals, and physical goals. Because if you keep something every day, if you get a win in each of those every day, then you're gonna be a lot better off than if you're just thinking about like a big, scary thing, like
Yes. Okay. Wait. That's so good. I saw this on Instagram. Someone reposted it. And we can get so in our heads about our future that we don't realize we are living out the prayer that we had months ago or years ago. And it's like you pray to God for this life, for this situation, you're living in it, but you're so focused on how bad your future is going to be that you can't enjoy today. Right now. So you have to focus on today, what you can do, what you can manage, take out all the things that you can't control. Wow. I don't even watch the news anymore. I can't watch the news. I don't follow politics anymore because it stresses me out. Media
in general is just all over the place right now. It's all corrupt and in your mind, toxic.
Exactly. Yeah, and they want to throw things in your brain that just make you genuinely upset. Like you turn on the news, you're not seeing happy stuff. You're seeing car crashes, people who hate each other, like judgment over everyone. And it's honestly, it's not even real life.
Yeah, it's chosen because they know it's gonna make a story and it's gonna make clicks and views. So,
exactly.
Yeah, it's that culture that we're in right now where it's now we got to have the next story ready. Whatever it's like, the biggest thing in the news. It's gonna be something negative. Like it's always something. So why do we go to that stuff even on our phones? Because in our generation, everyone's on Instagram, TikTok, just scrolling, and that has a bunch of stuff too. Why are we going through that and not to God first in the morning?
It's crazy. And we say that, but then at the end of the day,
I
don't go to the God
I'm talking to myself
morning.
too. It's like it's easier said than done, but I think if we start to be different, like it has to start with a daily thing. If we start to be different, just 5 minutes in the morning of putting God first, that even helps you go into looking at all this other stuff differently. Because you're like, okay, like yes, there's bad things happening, but I already talked to God. I already know what God's saying. So it changes your perspective. Yeah.
And at the end of the day, we're all going to die, and we get to live in eternity with the God above.
Yeah.
What happens on earth isn't that major. And our one goal is to spread positivity and show people like God's true character, not be judging everyone, not be trying to hurt everyone.
Show
and
the
also,
love.
Exactly, and like forgiving every day. And just, we live life through a different lens. And I was talking to you about this yesterday. Who are we to judge non-believers? Because me and him, we've grown up as Christ followers.
Yeah, we don't know exactly what someone's going through.
Yes, and even though, like, I know for me personally, like, there's been times where I didn't know God truly, but I still believed he was there and he had a plan for me. And I can't relate to people who have never believed in Jesus. Right. Or, like, so who am I to judge them when, like, I can't relate to them?
Yeah, because, I mean, if you think about how we're raised, everyone has like a different upbringing, a different introduction to faith and all these things. So people that don't have the same story as me, it's hard to put myself in their shoes sometimes.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's easy to say, come on, son. I need to like get a specifically made thing, not my own. Whatever.
I like it.
Thank you. We can't. It's easy to say, oh, just go to God. Like, just pray about it. That's like brings up what I was talking about before. Just Jesus already won the battle. Go to him. But for someone who doesn't even know what that is, it doesn't help. So I think the first thing with other people's situations is loving them. That's why, like you were talking about, we can't just judge everyone. It's like if we really want to change someone and help them find God, we have to love them like Jesus would. Like Jesus would. He loved people that were horrible to him. Everybody. Exactly. So that's how it started. Let's see. Another thing I want to talk about is the power of the tongue. Because in all this we're talking about, overthinking, mental health, insecurity, it all comes, a big part to play is what we say out loud. Because it's easy to say things about yourself that aren't good, even if you don't you don't realize it's like doing any harm. It's like, oh, I don't feel good. I'm not good at this, or I'm not, perfect in this, or I'm not, like I'm ugly. Things like that that we just say to ourselves. The Bible says the tongue has the power of life and death. So like, what do you think about that stuff and talking to yourself?
This is a big thing that I'm trying to work on because, like, even my brother has pointed out, he's like, your self-talk is so bad. Because I'll tell myself I'm terrible at something, or I will never be good at this. I'm the most ugly person that's ever to walk this earth. And all this stuff.
All these things that aren't true.
Exactly. And it's like, first of all, I'm being a little dramatic. And second of all, if I wake up and I say I'm beautifully and wonderfully made, and I'm not bad at everything, I will be good at this, or this is something I can do, then like you'll start to believe it. You just have to continue telling yourself positive things. And then when you aren't doing something you should be doing and you get conviction to stop doing it, or like I said, like the negative self-talk, like you don't need to dwell on the fact that scared me. You don't need to dwell on the fact that you've messed up in the past or that you're not perfect.
Yeah, we all have a past too. Like, and I don't think I would be who I am today if I didn't go through those things, and I wasn't that person before I was a devoted follower of Jesus. Because before, like those days when I was first getting into it and I had different problems, those things shaped me too. Those things made me better in certain areas of my life now.
Exactly. And if you don't go through crappy situations, how on earth are you going to help other people who don't know God?
Yeah.
Like, it's a gift that you've gone through this and that you've gotten out of it through him. Now you got to help other people out. That's really the reason why we're here, is to show God through our actions, through our words, and even through our experiences. Not to live in guilt or shame or self-hate. Like, it's to just, like I said, we just want to spread Jesus and show everyone who he is so they can live an eternity with him. And it's so cool, and it is a gift.
Yeah, so if you're going through something right now, a storm, like I like to say it, a storm, if you're going through a storm, there is a purpose for that. And you never know who you could help one day who's going through the same thing, who might go through the same thing as you are right now. Like, it's powerful. And it's hard to see when you're in the moment. It's like there's no hope. There's nothing. I'm stuck in this situation, but there is light on the other side. There is I just heard, okay, do you know who Jim Rohn is? He's like a motivational speaker. And I played one of his seminars back lately, and he talks about seasons. He says there's 4 seasons, right? There's winter, summer, spring, and fall. And winter is the dark, gloomy, no like color. Like it's the dark season, the hard season, the lonely. Winter's when my heart aches at night and there's no hope in the morning. Winter is the darkness, and it can be really long too. But periodically, every single year ever, spring has come after winter. And spring is the season of opportunity. It signifies opportunity because look, the flowers start growing, things get brighter. No matter how long or dark the winter is, spring always comes after it. And I think if we think about that in our life, in our seasons of life, because we go through seasons and storms like that, after our winter, after our hard season, spring always comes. God always brings you through something to another season. Like it's just how life is. And life is hard. Like I will say, like these seasons are not easy to go through. And no one goes through the same thing. Everyone has their own experiences, but no matter what, there is another better season coming.
Yeah. And like I was watching a TikTok kind of says the same thing. It was like, say you're outside and it's snowing and you can't even leave your house and it's so bad. And you're like, wow, the snow's really bad. The snow's always really bad, like every single day. Now, yes, if you're going by that one day of the year, then obviously that's a pretty valid statement, but all 364 days
right.
exist. So obviously, like when spring or summer comes, that snow's going to go away. But we want to like live in a limited mind.
In a box. We
exactly.
put ourselves in a box. Yeah. We for some reason we do this to ourselves. Like we set ourselves up for certain things. And like going back to how we talk about ourselves, Pastor Bernard at Bayside said this a few weeks ago. He said that thoughts aren't always from us, but what we speak out will create our reality. So it's
whoa, yes.
Isn't that good?
Mm-hmm. The enemy will give you these awful thoughts, and he wants to convince you that it's you, but it's not.
That's the thing, and it's in your mind. But then if you speak that out, it becomes real.
Exactly.
Thoughts are just thoughts, but if you speak them out, they become real, and as real as just of a thought it is. When we speak it out, we're creating something that didn't ever have to be a thing.
Mm-hmm. There's some things where I know very little about, but I have one small experience of doing a good job. So then I'll just wear the label that I'm really good at this thing. And then I become really good at it.
Hey, that's what I'm saying. Like if you wake up in the morning and say like you're great at pickleball, and then you go practice and play pickleball all the time, then you're going to be good at pickleball.
Exactly. And you're going to be happier that you're doing it.
Yes. But then go back in the same situation, but in the morning tell yourself that you're terrible at pickleball. If you wake up and say you're terrible, even if you practice all these things, but if you tell yourself that, that's what you're going to become.
Exactly.
We become what we tell ourselves. Mm-hmm. We really do. It's a hard thing to grasp.
That's why it's important to like filter out those awful thoughts, filter out those awful words, and also like you said, your tongue has the power to speak a life or death. Like when you're talking to other people, speak life. Don't tell people.
Yeah, that's a whole nother thing we can talk about, like how we speak to other people.
I will admit I am very mean to people sometimes, like because I'm like sarcastic and I make jokes, so then I'll just get really mean. But it's like I'm obviously joking, but I really shouldn't be like being so mean. Yeah,
but it's just people take things differently, like interpret how we do things and say things differently. Mm-hmm. And I think if we just be more mindful of what we're saying, then it can transform someone's life too. Because if you tell someone, like if I'm talking like bullying, for example, if you tell someone that they're dumb, they're gonna take that and believe it.
Sorry, I thought you said bowling.
Bowling, yeah. If someone's bowling and no, bullying.
You're talking about pickleball.
Oh yeah, it makes sense.
Sorry, that's not funny, but I wanted to start laughing because
it's okay. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, bullying is not good.
No. It's not good, is it, Lauren? Okay. I'm just leave it down. I don't care. I'm going to another verse because I wrote down another one I wanted to talk about. So the laughing just was a good segue. Thank you.
Okay, good. Are you cutting it?
Nope.
You're not cutting that?
No.
Oh.
This is the realest thing I do. Podcast. We don't cut this stuff. This is real. Okay. This is like real life. It is. Like these videos I do on Instagram and stuff, like they're all cut. This podcast is like real. It's just me and whoever else I'm with.
Awesome.
And we're bound to laugh if you're here. I can't even find the right chapter.
What are you looking for?
Ephesians.
That's somewhere in Paul's letters. Oh, it's after Galatians.
Where's Galatians?
Here. What?
Before Romans or after?
Here you go.
Oh, thanks.
You're welcome. My Bible's kind of like...
Ephesians 4:29. What version is this?
CSB, I think.
Okay.
They make men... That's a She Reads Truth. They have He Reads Truth.
Really?
Yeah, they're really cool.
Maybe I should get one.
You should.
All right. So 4:29. It says, "No foul language should come from your mouth, but I cannot talk today. No foul language should come from your mouth, but only what is good for building up someone in need." So I guess it does go back to what we were just talking about. But we were just talking about how talking about other people has a big impact. It says in the end of the verse, only what is good for building up someone in need. So we need to build each other up. We got to stop tearing each other down. Mm-hmm. And I think, thank you. I think social media has created this easy way to tear people down. Mm-hmm. It's like really easy to say something mean when you're not face to face, because it's like nothing's going to happen. But imagine like if all these comments people do were in person, they would not say half the things they say.
Mm-hmm. And there's no tone. Because like when I like I said, I'll be really mean to people just like out of joking, which is something I probably shouldn't do. But by my tone and the fact I'm smiling, you can tell I don't mean it and like I'm joking. But
Yeah, and so
there's zero tone.
On the internet, you can't even tell how someone's saying something. You could completely say it a different way. Like, I hate texting because I cannot. People don't understand how I text in the same way as like I'm seeing it. You know, they just come out differently.
And there will be like pauses or like, have you ever read a sentence and you're like, what on earth did I just read?
Yeah.
And then you'll ask the person, and then they'll read it out. And they add their pauses or comments and stuff. Like, okay. And then just like, okay, that fully makes sense, but I interpret it completely wrong.
Yeah. It's so easy to do that. It's like a complete, that's why these real conversations are so much better. And I think we've lost that in our generation. People, it's funny because social media has made us less social. It's like the opposite of what it's supposed to do.
And I feel like it's made us overthink a lot more too, because with social media, we have a window into people's minds and like their lives and everything. So it can make us look at ourselves and be like, oh, I'm not like that. Or this person said that. This is like a new social thing that I like, blah, 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 blah. And you're like creating things where if you just didn't even have social media in the first place, like you'd be fine.
And whoa, like what would change in your life? Comparison is a thief of joy. And when we go on social media, it's instantly comparing ourselves with other people. Like, what do we go on Instagram for? We're seeing other people's best moments, their best times, their cool adventures. Someone's in freaking like Mexico on a beach that looks awesome, and then I'm in my room like, man, what am I doing? Or someone has a 6-pack and and like a bunch of people have plastic surgery and filters and stuff. It's like it's not real. It's really. I've talked about this a few episodes. It's like social media is a illusion.
Yep. Like, look at Alex Earl. Do you know who that is? She is stunning and beautiful, but she has a beauty filter on, and she obviously chooses what she records. And I really like sometimes she'll like show her acne and show she's not perfect and show like her true self.
Realness.
Exactly. And you're like, Alex Earl, she's stunning. There's nothing wrong with her. But every single person has insecurities, even if they don't show it.
Yeah.
And it is sad. Also, social media, like our For You pages, they make it an effort. Like they know exactly what we're thinking because we're on social media all the time.
It's scary.
You want to like make the algorithm to have things that lift you up. Like I had to delete social media for a few weeks because it was just making me so insecure. And then this was when I first moved to college. But then I re-downloaded it and I was still kind of feeling sad. And then I was on the phone with my brother and he was like, make your social media stuff that you enjoy. So now I followed a bunch of farmhouses or like
so now you're seeing
stuff.
more of that.
Exactly. Or people who flip houses or women workout influencers because like I want to try to like lose weight and eat healthier and all that.
Yeah, a lot of the stuff is pointless, but if it's the right stuff, it can be really meaningful. It can be really impactful. So that's a great thing to start doing.
And unfollow people.
Yeah. That's Unfollow the things that are not good for you.
Exactly.
It's hard to say or hard to do, but like just do it.
Because I won't lie, all of us follow people we genuinely do not like because we just want to see them. And then then when you do that, you're on your like page, you see a picture of them and you're like, ugh, gross. And then you just scroll past it.
Yeah, so what's the point? Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, unfollow those people. Follow people you genuinely enjoy talking to. Follow people you look up to, and follow things that you like aspire to be.
You know what it is? It's we want to, for some reason, we get like obsessed with, or we get like really, what's it called? Not devoted, but into other people's lives. Like we look at every single thing certain people do. Yeah. Even if it's in a bad way, like if we don't like what they do, we still look at everything they do. It's like,
it's kind of weird.
I know.
I don't like that.
Yeah, it's a real thing though. We all do it. I do it, and yeah, I'm gonna start following more pages that I want to see and unfollowing things that aren't helping. I want to dive in a little bit to your college experience so far, because you just brought up when you were going to college, certain things came up, certain emotions and just everything kind of changed. So what's it been like in a different environment, especially with your faith? Like, how have you kept your faith first, even when things around you aren't always like that?
That was the biggest thing for me. So in high school, for the last 2 years, I was homeschooled. I went to church like 5 times a week.
Yeah, so look at that. That's a big change.
Exactly. And I dual enrolled at my church. So I was surrounded by Christians at all times. And it wasn't necessarily the best thing because the Christians aren't perfect by any means. There's a reason we're Christians because
following the perfect one.
Exactly.
We aren't.
No one's perfect, nothing. And it wasn't the right environment for me, but I was safe. I was in my comfort zone, and I wasn't like bettering myself, but I wasn't like becoming a worse person. I was getting closer to God, which is bettering myself, but I don't know. I wasn't supposed to be.
But you were in a bubble, kind of.
Exactly. Completely in a bubble and fully in my comfort zone. And then I went to a secular school by myself.
Yeah, the real world, kind of.
Mm-hmm. And people, like, not everyone I meet's a Christian.
Yeah.
And I don't see that as a bad thing, though, because everyone always says it. We're called to
you're
live
supposed to
in
be
the world, not of it. And I've really realized how much I do trust God, but also I've been an anxious mess. But I've met some really great people, some who even aren't Christian. I don't know. It's good.
That's real though. It's
exactly,
real.
Yeah.
Like that's your experience is gonna like I just want to talk about it because it's like we're not gonna be perfect when we change seasons like that, and then we're gonna things are gonna come up that are changing. And so yeah, like have you been able to use like has anyone you met have you gotten like a connection yet, like a good new friend?
Yes.
Because that's
sure.
I think that's something that we struggle with. And like me specifically is like when I go somewhere new, it's hard to get good new friends because one, we're on our phones, so our social skills aren't as good, and we're scared to go into like new opportunities like that. So like, how'd you do it? How'd you meet a new friend?
Okay, ironically, since I was so stressed about being perfect all the time and really dumb things that didn't exist, my social anxiety just didn't exist.
Because
so,
all the other things?
Yes. Well, obviously there's still some anxiety meeting people and everything.
Yeah.
But I've met like my like new best friend. I hang out with her every single day. We work out every day. We just have very similar minds. I swear that was a God-given friendship.
There you go. See, God can send people like that. It's real.
I met her like a week after classes started, and she gets me out of my comfort zone. She gets me to meet more people. She's very fun, and I really love being around her. And I feel like it's also good because I feel like I'm more like chill for her and stuff like that because I'm really focused on schoolwork and stuff. My only thing is I need to stop being so stressed all the time. I'm just like paranoid all the time, and it's kind of ridiculous. But yeah, no. So like that, I swear, is a God-given friendship, and she's introduced me to some other really cool people. And but there are meeting people in college, I would say, is like one of the easiest things I've ever done.
Yeah. The thing about this is you put yourself in a situation to meet people, like doing that. Seeking discomfort, that's the yes theory's like thing. Seek discomfort. It was probably not comfortable for you at the beginning because you were in a new environment and you weren't used to like that kind of world. So when you went through that change, you put yourself in a situation to meet new people. So like if someone's shy, if someone's like not good at talking to people, what's your advice to meeting new people?
Okay, this is something I do. So at this new place that I live, there's a church and they have like college night, and I didn't have any friends to bring. Wow.
It's still recording.
I didn't have any friends to bring with me, and I struggle to talk to new people. So I walk in, and first you have to get comfortable. You have to like be like, okay, deep breath, everything's going to be okay. Then I looked at people who were by themselves. And then without thinking, because you're going to talk yourself out of it, you just walk up to them and say, hi. And then you just start talking to them. Or you can compliment them. But I try not to compliment them because I feel like that's making it easier for myself. So I'll just be like, oh, hi, I'm Lauren. And then one girl, she looked at me and she was like, I cannot believe you just did that. Like, I would never be able to do that.
Boldness.
Yeah, but like I kind of had to fake the boldness because I wasn't like that. But now every time I go, I'm comfortable doing that because I had to do it while I was uncomfortable. And then it becomes natural.
Yeah, it's not bad to. I wouldn't say it's faking it. I would say it's like forcing yourself to do something that you don't usually do. Like fake it till you make it. To think people say, but it's not a bad thing to put that on yourself. Be like, okay, I'm gonna be bold, even if it doesn't feel like it.
Right.
Because things like that aren't gonna always feel 100%. Like I'm not gonna feel confident every room I walk in. But if I tell myself, I'm going to walk in this new room with my head up with the mindset to meet new people. It's going to be a lot better than if you're like, I don't know anyone, I'm scared. Like,
Yeah, there's been many times where like I'll walk into rooms and I'm kind of nervous, and then no one really talks to you because they can tell you're stressed out. And
That's what I'm saying.
Hanging out with a stressed out person.
You can notice the energy.
Yeah.
Like when you're not in a confident mindset, like if you're scared, people are gonna see that you're kind of scared, and it's okay to be scared, but just I would say for myself, like what I've done is bring a cup of coffee in the room. Mm-hmm. Something like that. I'm not even kidding. Like something like that simple. You always feel like you belong when you have a cup of coffee. Mm-hmm. That's a quote from Grey's Anatomy, by the way, but off topic. But like, I always feel more confident when I have something in my hand. Mm-hmm. It's like you're not just going in like, what are you doing? Have you ever faked a phone call?
I have.
I have a lot. Like I've gone into like one time in high school, I was going to a football game, like a varsity football game. Everyone goes, but I didn't really have a lot of friends, so I got there and I didn't know anyone, so I was like, hello. Yeah. Which is not good, but
it's such a low. Like I've had that.
I know it's horrible,
and you're just like, how? I was watching.
It's so sad.
I know, and then you get off and you're like, there's no way I just did that.
I know,
and you have to awkwardly put it in your pocket. But no, I saw a YouTube video, and it was all about like what kills you socially, and I know for so many people do this. I swear, like most people do this when they walk past a group or they're in an environment where they're not comfortable.
Oh, yep.
And you're just swiping through your settings.
You're not even doing anything. You're just, like you go out probably in and out of the same app like 20 times.
Exactly. Like, and what that does, it makes you have closed energy. You can have open energy or closed energy. And closed energy is kind of like, I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to be here. I'm stressed out. Like, I'm going to stay to myself and stay scrolling on my phone, like swiping notifications. And then like, so stupid. But if you stand up, good posture, deep breath, you're comfortable in the room.
Yeah.
Then people will be more apt to walk up to you.
Yeah, and that goes back to telling yourself who God says you are, and not who you think you are.
Right.
Like, because a lot of the time reading these verses, it's not like I know everything, but just from reading a lot, I start to remember certain things. It becomes part of my DNA. Mm-hmm. It's like the guy who goes to the gym every day, and he starts this routine of doing it every day, and then once he misses a day, he kind of like feels like frustrated because he is not doing that thing he's been doing. It's like, I'm missing that. I need to do that. It's because it's part of his DNA. Mm-hmm. Same thing with reading the word. When I read this every day and get in the habit of doing that, I don't read it every day, but I try.
My reading skills with the Bible are so bad.
But if we put that effort to reading it more, it starts to become in your DNA, and you remember certain verses when you're in situations. Mm-hmm. Like when I go through something now, like from the first time this happened, now I go through things with the mindset that God has a plan that's bigger than mine. He has plans to prosper me, not to harm me. Verses like that stick with you. And I think that's why it's important, because God tells you who you are. And when you go into a new room, if you know who God says you are, you're going to be a lot more confident than if you're just going with your own mind. Mm-hmm.
And he'll lead the conversations. He'll lead people to you.
Yeah. Like this, you said that you think that's a God-given friendship. I think it is. I think there's certain people in my life. You're one of them. You're an example. Like, God put you in my life at a certain time for a reason, and I don't think it will ever go away now. Mm-hmm. There's certain ones you just kind of know. It's like, that was from God.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I agree with you and literally everyone like in our group. Like,
yeah, and sometimes the bad influences are good for you to be around, because as Christians, we are called to share our faith and share our way of living. It's not not even necessarily just saying like, do you know Jesus? It's not like that all the time.
I never really try to convince people to believe in God.
Yeah, I don't like that either.
Yeah.
A big thing, I think George Janko said this. He said, how would he say it? He said, it was about living out, sharing your faith without ever saying a word. Mm-hmm. Like, it's all about how you act and how your life shows your faith. Because people will notice that.
Oh, 100%. Be a safe person to be, like, to talk to. Be genuinely good. Like, have integrity. Oh, integrity.
Oh, gosh, that's a big one.
That's a big one. People, you think integrity goes unnoticed because you think no one's watching you, but that's not the case at all. Everyone can tell when you have good integrity and if they can trust you. And
yeah. Like, be the person that just gives a few bucks to that guy that needs food, Like I just did this other day. It's like those little things of giving actually make us feel better. Mm-hmm. Carter said this on one of the episodes. He said the most selfish thing you can do is something good for someone else because of how it makes you feel, but it's also helping someone else. And kindness or giving is the way of living. Mm-hmm. The way of living is giving. Because Jesus, when he came down, all he did was give. He gave. He gave, first of all, like the biggest one, a sacrifice of his life for us, the biggest act of love ever. He gave everything. And he even told his disciples when they went out into other cities to not take anything. Leave it all and just go in there with the intention of just meeting people. Yeah. And so I think it's a powerful thing. Once I start to read all these gospels to see like how Jesus did things, especially with just the smallest acts of kindness, it's like it actually makes a difference.
Right. And he would do it in ways that no one ever expected, like to people that like other people thought wouldn't deserve it.
Yeah, exactly.
Because every single person deserves to see who like God is.
And we all fall short of God's glory. So when you're meeting new people, when you're going into these places where sometimes they're not good influences, it's like, okay, but maybe you are the one that they needed to see. Maybe you are the one that they needed to meet.
Right. And many times people are way more open to new ideas than you think they are.
Yeah, first impressions are kind of a takeaway from that. It's like sometimes people, the first thing they do is not actually, once you get to know them, you're like, okay, this person's actually really, they have a lot to say. They have a lot to offer. Right.
Yeah, I'm not a big believer in first impressions, like, being the way people see you forever. Because then there's a lot of people that I haven't liked when I first met them that I really like now. What? No, I never didn't like you.
Some people think I'm, like, mean before they meet me. They think I'm, like cocky and stuff. And I'm like, man, meet me first. Come on. Yeah. You know?
But also they could be intimidated. Yeah. Because I remember when I was younger, I used to like look at popular people and be like, oh my gosh, they're awful human beings. Never talk to any of them.
Yeah.
And then now that I'm a little older, I was like, okay, that was a little ridiculous.
Yeah. It goes a long way with like just the way we meet people, because first of all, you go into some place in a part of your life where you're a different person than the next season. Like some people, when they met me, is a first impression of me that's not me anymore. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, like there's people who don't like me, and I fully do not blame them, because I was so mean to some people, and it's like that's not me anymore, and God has moved so much in my life, and I wish that I could interact with them like now.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, everyone meets you at a different time of your life. So people everyone has a different idea of you in their head, even if it's not the you right now.
Yeah.
It's like the only people that know me right now are like the people that I see. So the people that haven't seen me in a while, they think I'm a different version of me than I am.
That's so weird to think about.
I know. I started thinking about that. It's like, it's weird. It's a weird thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Masha believed you too.
Yeah. Sorry. Apologies for the barking. It's can't help it. It's all we can do. Yeah, so I want to ask this question I've asked every guest. What's your favorite Bible verse and why? What has it gotten you through? Why?
Okay, I think it's Matthew 6:34, but I don't know it directly.
Matthew 6 and 7 are so good.
Yeah, look at my Matthew 6 and 7.
My whole Matthew's just highlighted. Like,
yeah, me too.
The whole thing. It's like, come on.
So bad. But I don't even know how I don't have it. Matthew 6:27 and 6:34. Can any of you add one more moment to his lifespan by worrying? And why do you worry? Yeah, okay, yeah. Oh, that's 28. But yeah, can any of you add one moment to his life by worrying? Why are we worrying about tomorrow? Because, like, we can live today, all that stuff. So don't worry saying what we'll eat. Oh, wait, but that's not the right one.
Yeah, he says your life is like the morning fog. It's here for a little while, and then it's gone. So why worry about tomorrow? Because your life is going to be gone quick, so we got to live it and focus on right now. Tomorrow's not even guaranteed. Like, the things we worry about might never even happen. And probably won't, honestly. The things we worry about.
Do you know, like, 91% of the things you worry about never actually occur?
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's crazy. Yeah, 6:34, therefore do not worry about tomorrow, because tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own.
That's a good one. Yeah, all about today.
And then also, when you're going through this trial that you've been worrying about forever, you still shouldn't be, like, say you're going through it. Like, your biggest fears are coming true and you're going through it.
Yeah.
You still shouldn't be worrying, because you're getting through it. Like,
yeah.
And then you won't know what to do, like, 20 years before it actually occurs.
Yeah, it's like, what's that going to do?
Exactly. If you look at it the day it's happening, you'll realize, wow, this really isn't that bad. And if it is that bad, you'll, like, be able to navigate it and get through it.
Yeah. Worrying is just putting yourself through a situation twice.
Exactly.
Like, every time I've worried, what's the benefit? You know, you can plan things, you can, think about things, but worrying is a different thing. It's like, what if? Well, these what ifs are probably not even true.
I know.
And our minds do that. They play tricks on us. The enemy wants us to worry. So we got to keep that in mind when you're worrying. Think, does God want me to worry? No. He tells us not to worry like 20 times everywhere. So what's the biggest issue? This is the last question. What's the biggest issue with our generation, and what can we do to fix it?
I believe social media. Like I love social media, but I hate social media so much.
Yeah, love-hate relationship.
Because it totally is like manipulative.
Yeah.
Like, and I don't like how our phones know more about us.
Oh yeah, it's scary. It's scary. What do you think we should do about what about social media?
I just feel like it makes our brains move way faster. What is it, like a dopamine rush or whatever? Because it's much more fun to open this than it is
instant gratification.
This.
We want what's now. Swipe. Nope, I don't like that. Nope, I want this.
It's so annoying. And then, like, you're constantly comparing yourself to other people. You're worrying about things. You're learning about terrible things.
Yeah.
Oh, I just hate it. So hopefully social media won't be a thing in, like, 20 years, but I don't think that'll ever happen. And, like, I just don't like social media. Okay,
what can we do as, Christ followers, as leaders, really, in our faith? What can we do to make that not as horrible of an issue?
I would say, for you personally, whenever you see things on social media you don't like, press not interested.
There you go.
Start, like I said, follow people that you aspire to be and your like closest people, and then unfollow people that you don't like or that you're not really close to or anything.
And look at yourself too, because you could be a part of the problem. Like me from a few years ago was not the person on social media I am now. Of being nice to people and like showing realness. Me from the past is just all about like, hey, everyone, look at me,
Yeah.
I think we should use it as a vehicle because it's here right now. So to like use it for good, for the good things. Like Quick Church, that's something I do because it's like, why not?
Exactly.
People are going to be on it anyway. Put something good out there. Positive. Be kind. Put a comment on someone's post that's like, that you like their outfit or you like whatever, instead of tearing people down. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, like spread positivity. Don't be like hating on people. Repost stuff that you like.
Yeah, and you already talked about it a little bit about, clicking, liking and following certain accounts that are good for you. That's all good stuff we can take from. So yeah, thank you for coming on today, Lauren.
Thank you so much for having me.
We had to do this. I think we had a lot of good stuff that people are going to learn from and hopefully help someone that's going through something like we have. So
for sure.
I appreciate you coming on. Anything else you want to say before we stop?
No, I'll be back.
She'll be back.
Without his permission, I'm going to be back.
All right, we'll get you back on.
Thanks. Appreciate it, Cam.
Have a great time in college again when you go back.
You too. Have a great time.
Thank you. See you guys.
Bye.